All right, so now this is precisely getting started at the very moment that you enter into HMIS. So the presumptions here are that you already have a client lined up, you have their HMIS ID. So we are going to, I'm going to pull up this client who is already on, who has already been assessed. And so the first thing you have to do, because you're pulling this client from the coordinated entry list, you have to click this Enter Data As mode, and you are going to select this project. So you're going to go ahead and click the green button next to Chicago Coordinated Entry System Skilled Assessors Project 1474. Okay? So now what that's essentially doing is saying Enter Data As mode is essentially a way of saying like, oh, I now am affiliated with this project. I'm not. It's not like I'm. Like it's giving you the permission to look at the information that exists in that entry. Okay. Because if you try to go to one of the coordinated entry assessments, all you would see is a blank. All you would see is blank information. There wouldn't be any answered. But when we click Enter Data As mode and enter into the 1474 project, that means that you're going to see the entire information on that client skilled assessment.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to search for our client. So you go to Client Point for that. I don't know if you're familiar with how this works, but you can enter the client ID right here. I don't think you'll need to search for clients very often, but one thing to keep in mind, let's do this, something like that. If you see this message and you have pulled it from and you have for sure pulled this client's information from the one list, let one of us know, because if this comes up that there's no client ID in the system, that could also mean that the client's record is locked.
Oh,
okay? So when you see this, don't automatically assume that something's wrong with this client's information. It just means that the client's record is locked and we have to unlock it for you. Okay? But I also want to preface that when you're in Enter Data As mode under the coordinated entry project, you should be able to see most of these projects, but I just want you to know what to do in this situation. What you have to do is let one of the HMIS team know to unlock this client for you.
Okay.
Okay? So I'll click OK. Now I'm going to actually search for my client who is unlocked. And you'll see that this is the same person that we talked about, was it last week, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So this client that we talked over last week. So you can open up their entry. Well, first off, this is just the summary page. You should, whenever we're looking at where a client has been, you want to click on Entry/Exit. And this will give you the full picture of where that client has been, what they've done, etc. Now, the project start date, you will hear this being referred to and also as the entry dates, as the entry assessment. Okay? And when we're saying go to the entry assessment, what that means is that you're going to be clicking this pencil that's to the left of the column that says project start date. All right? So this is where you'll click to get to the entry assessment. This is where you'll click to get to the exit assessment. Now, if there are updates, where do you think that would be?
In the what is it? Right there, under that icon.
It is not under follow-ups. So follow-ups is going to be for your project that you'll never use follow-ups, actually.
No,
so
not
it's
the
interims. Yeah.
Interims, yes.
So interims is where you'll find updates, right?
Okay.
So this icon, when there are more updates input, you'll see that there'll be a number right here.
Okay.
And so if you do see a number under interims, I'm going to ask you that you don't click on entry, that you click on interims,
Okay.
and then go to the either click on add interim review. Actually, you should always add interim review. You're never, yeah, so let's just go with that. Like, if you are actually going to begin a screening on a client,
Sure.
and the client has given you permission that they're going to be screening with you, you will click on interims
Okay.
and click on add interim review.
Okay.
If you just need to get how to contact them, what their email is, their phone number, then you can click on the entry, click save and continue. So this screen, it's just another screen to move forward. So I think people always get a little scared that clicking save and continue is going to write over something. You're fine. If you don't change a project start date, there's nothing to worry about.
Okay.
So you'll click on save and continue here. And where we keep this client's contact information, if you scroll down, so you should see everything here.
Okay.
All right. So there should be populated information. If you don't see anything, if you scroll all the way down and it seems to be a completely empty assessment, that probably means that the visibility is off, that we need to open up this record for you. So if you open this up and see nothing, that there's no information in here, let one of the HMIS team know, okay?
Okay.
So here I am, I just want this client's contact information. So what I'll do is scroll down, and it's right here. So it's right under this section that says veteran permanent housing. It's under contact information client. So for this client, we didn't put anything because it's just a simple test client, but I'll put in some dummy stuff anyway. And you would pull this client's contact information from there, okay?
Okay.
So we'll just click save. And so now let's say that we have the client's contact information. They want to go through this screening with us. So what we'll do is actually, instead of clicking in project entry, what we're going to do is click on interims, add interim review, select update, save and continue. And again, you can review this if you want to get a better sense of who the client is. It'll take you a few clients to get completely familiar with this assessment and to know what the fields on here are.
Okay.
But if you scroll up, what you need to do once you want to begin your initial assessment, you'll click on SOAR Initial Assessment.
Okay.
So if you look in this section, the Select an Assessment screen, you'll see that there are 4 different boxes to check off. So there's the standardized housing assessment. Every skilled assessor completes this. There's the VI tools, safe haven questions, disability information, and this information is not to be shared with anyone outside of the skilled assessor's pool, okay? This is super sensitive information, so we are not going to share this assessment with the client, okay? Or with the interns. Then the transfer request form, that's for permanent housing providers. Observational assessment form, that is for the outreach team. Your interest is going to be this SOAR initial assessment. So you'll click on this icon, and I'm just going to ignore this. You don't need to pay much attention to that. And so when you click on SOAR initial assessment, here is the full assessment for yourself, okay? So you'll fill this out whatever you need to. I'm just putting in dummy information. You click on save, and so you are the only person that should be filling these out. If you click on this and there may be, so the way I had originally set it up when we were sort of thinking of this as a different thing, I set it up where it's pulling in a lot of questions from the standardized assessment.
Right.
Now that might change because of the fact that, you know, we're fully integrated into coordinated entry now. So I don't want to double up, but what you should keep note of is if you come in here and you see a full assessment done, like completely finished and you were not the person to do it,
Sure.
then you might want to reach out to one of us to see what the heck is going on. You can also click on, you see this green box.
Okay.
So this box might be green, it might be yellow. The color depends on when data was entered in that question last.
Okay.
So if you click on it, you'll see that Anna was the person to last answer this question.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. If you ever come here and you see a assessment fully completed, a SOAR assessment fully completed, you can click on this green box and it'll tell you who was the person to complete it.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So we have fully completed this client's SOAR assessment. Again, when you're first accessing a client's record, this assessment and this assessment will have been completed. You are just there to see, to pull information from the Chicago Standardized Housing Assessment, and then to also complete the SOAR initial assessment.
Okay.
Okay? All right. And another thing I'll ask of you, if a client tells you that, you know what, my email's changed, my phone number's changed, please update it here. Okay? So just concentrate on your initial assessment, but if a client does indicate that, like, oh, my contact information has been updated, maybe if you could integrate that into some of your questioning, that'd be helpful.
Sure.
And so when you come here and you update the standardized housing assessment, it's hugely helpful because you'll be the last person to have a point of contact with his clients.
Okay.
And when you do this, when you put in their latest contact information, it really helps us out a lot, and it'll make it that much easier for the housing provider.
Sure.
Okay? Any questions this far?
No.
No? And so, Margaret, this is what it currently looks like. Again, it's going to be looking different just with the edits that you have provided me.
Yeah, of course.
Okay? All right. So we're done with this. We have screened this client. He answered few OF to several answers. So we'll click on Save and Exit. And there is your interim update. So you have completed this one.
Okay.
So just keep in mind always, if you out in the wild, when you are actually looking at a fresh client's record, where I would recommend you start is by clicking interims and then choosing the latest review date. So you'll open that up by clicking on this pencil right here.
Okay.
So if you see that they have an interim update, that means that that assessment in that interim update probably has the most up-to-date information, up-to-date contact information of the client.
Okay.
Okay? Otherwise, if there's nothing there, you'll start out by checking the entry for their phone number, their email, and then once you are able to move them forward to a screening, you'll excuse me, you'll go ahead and actually create an interim update.
Okay.
All right? Okay. So we have officially done a screening on this client. Now what we are going to have to do is create a referral. All right? So what you'll do is click on Service Transactions. And immediately where you'll get started off at is Add a Referral. So you'll click on Add Referrals.
Okay.
And so this is something to keep in mind. You're under Chicago Coordinated Entry System. The service code that I'm sort of designating for y'all is going to be benefits assistance. Is that accurate? Is that like what you think would be? Okay. So you can see that benefits assistance isn't here. I'm hesitant to add it because then all referrals would have this. So any Chicago Coordinated Entry person, anyone with access to the Skills Assessor project could make a referral out for benefits assistance, and it becomes a little bit cumbersome.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can do is just click on Service Code Lookup.
Okay.
I see.
Type in benefits assistance, select it, and then just click submit. Okay? And so once you select it and click submit,
Okay.
so you can ignore the majority of this noise, okay? You can ignore the referral provider quick list, the search for providers. Upon selecting that like benefits assistance, you'll scroll down and you'll see that there are now these search results, right? There's All Chicago SOAR, Deborah's Place Learning Center. This one's, I'm sure so what the system is doing now, is basically when we indicated that, hey, we want you to look up all the clients that provide a service of benefits assistance, it's looking throughout all the system and pulling out folks that are, pulling out agencies that have that service, that provide the service of benefits assistance. And so the rest of the SOAR projects will pop up here. I think Franciscan and the rest aren't up here because I have not fully finished their service assessments and their eligibility criteria. But you can also search for your providers. And so I have to work on visibility right now, so I'll hammer this out this afternoon. But we'll just go with Heartland Health Outreach, okay?
Sure.
And so now you've selected Heartland Health Outreach, and from this point on, you don't need to do much. So you don't have to enter anything here. You don't have to indicate anything. You can just keep scrolling down, and then under Benefits Assistance, you can leave it as identified right now. I'm gonna have to work with Adam to see if there's a better selection for the need status. So maybe like CES, SOAR, referral open. And then they'll have to go in there and update it. But for right now, we'll leave it as identified.
Okay.
And what you'll do is click Save All. And there we go. So now you have officially referred this client out. You could see that it was referred to Heartland Health Outreach SOAR. When we click on Client Service History, you'll also see that there's apparently a need from the Chicago Coordinated Entry System for benefits assistance, and that there's a referral to the Heartland Health Outreach SOAR project to provide benefits assistance. Okay? So I'm going to show you there is one more step in this process. So what you'll do is click on Client Information. So now you've officially referred this person out to Heartland Health Outreach.
Right.
What you will now have to do is open the visibility of your assessment to Heartland Health Outreach. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to do that. You'll click on the entry assessment here. Save and continue. And then you are going to open up this assessment and the SOAR initial assessment to the provider that you're working with. Okay? So the way you do that is by clicking on this little icon right above here.
Okay.
You'll click on Future and Historical Answers. And you are going to add just Heartland Health Outreach. Click on just this one. And again, Future and Historical Answers. Click Save. And we're going to move over to the SOAR initial assessment.
So you're giving visibility to the whole agency, not just the project.
Yeah, which is.
That's just a nuance that I just want to make sure is clear, so
Yes.
that Julie's isn't searching for like the specific project.
You're giving it to the whole agency.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Same provider. Future and Historical Answers. Save. And so what we've done is given whoever is going to answer this referral at Heartland Health Outreach access to the Chicago Continuum of Care, standardized assessment, and the initial assessment for SOAR.
Okay.
Otherwise, when they come here, all they'll see are blank questions. That's all they'll see.
Okay.
And so we are when we go to home, I'm gonna go ahead and click out of your mode, and I'm actually gonna enter into Sophia Starks. So now Sophia has her referral, and I referred someone to her earlier today. But when she comes here and she clicks on this outstanding incoming referrals, she'll click there and she'll see the ID and the type of needs that this client has and who it was referred out from. Okay? So she will go ahead and click on client ID. And here is her client. So now she knows that Things Get Done is on her roster. And let's make sure that she's able to see the client's information.
Okay.
And she is. Oh, thank God. Okay, so she is, right? And she's able to look at the SOAR initial assessment. Perfect. So Sophia says everything looks good. What I'll do is enter my client into my project because I'm Sophia and I'm working with my client. Not path, it'll be HUD. That was just a little bit of a mistype on my part. And there we go. So now Sophia sees the project entry assessment and she sees the initial screening. Okay, and what she'll have to do is do the entry assessment, but they're fully trained on that now. So we'll X out, and the other follow-up thing she'll have to do is click on service transactions, view entire service history, and she will update this referral need status to just be in progress. And again, these need statuses might be updated shortly. I just want to keep it simple for right now.
Okay.
And then we'll go back, and there we go. So our client is officially entered into the project. Again, this is all Sophia. This is what her process would be after addressing the referral that you gave her. Okay. And that's it.
Oh.
Yo.
It's great.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, of course.
What are your
Simple.
questions right now?
I don't have any right now.
It'll
I
take you
think-
like 5 people to do this to
Okay.
really
Yeah.
feel comfortable with it. So
Okay.
it really does take practice.
Okay.
And if you don't mind, can I actually have you go through a client and do
Sure.
a client for me?
Sure.
I'm gonna stop this recording.